Starting a personal brand right now might just be the closest opportunity we'll ever get to buying Bitcoin in 2010 or running Facebook ads in 2017. Even if you live a painfully mundane life or have no particular talent or skills to showcase, you can, and in fact you should, still be documenting your life and starting a personal brand. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about starting a personal brand, and more importantly, how to go from $0 to a full-time income with just a few hours of work every single week. You see, my biggest regret in my entire entrepreneurial journey is simply not documenting more of my life, especially in the earlier years. Luckily, I started posting a few years back when I was 20 years old, making 6 figures per month. But like I said, I missed out on the most key parts of my journey and the struggles to get there. These are the parts that would have resonated with you guys the most and would likely have me sitting well over 1 million subscribers right now had I just picked up the damn phone. I used to think that before I was going to start posting on Instagram or YouTube, that I had to be somebody worthy first. I had to be rare, I had to stand out, I had to make $1 million, do something really cool, or have a ton of value to share with you guys. And about a year ago, I had a realization that I was dead wrong. In fact, the strongest personal brands in the world are the ones that started from rock bottom. Take Logan Paul, social media's biggest entertainer, professional boxer, wrestler, business owner, the list goes on. 10 years ago, he was a nobody, just simply filming himself every single day on a shitty camera. But sharing his journey and all the trials and tribulations that came along with daily vlogging is what captivated the hearts of millions of people around the world who went on to become his true fans. Start a personal brand and you'll end up just like Logan Paul? Probably not, unless you've got heaps of natural talent, athletic ability, and a crazy high stress tolerance to deal with all that fame and prestige. But instead, you can shoot for something far easier. You can end up like me. And before you click off this video and be like, I don't want to be like you freaking nobody, just hear me out. I'm not globally recognized, and I like that. In fact, barely anybody outside of the online world on my own phone and social media accounts will recognize me. I've had the odd person come up to me on the street maybe a couple of times per year. But what I've done on here, I've changed thousands of people's lives from around the world, made millions of dollars in the process, and loved every single moment of what I do for work. Building my businesses, focusing on what I'm passionate about, and sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly to all of you guys on YouTube and Instagram. Now make sure you don't go anywhere, pull out your notepad and pen, because I've never seen anybody do this before. Not only am I gonna walk you through all of the steps to go from zero to $1 million personal brand, but I'm gonna break down all of the income that I've made and show you exactly where it's came from over the past 5 years since I picked up the camera and started posting online. Now this will be tremendously valuable because, it's no secret, most people know you can make a lot of money on social media, but they don't have the slightest clue as to where that money actually comes from. So if you're not yet convinced, here's exactly why you should be starting a personal brand today. Here you can see a couple of pictures on my Instagram of things that I'm actively doing. About a year ago today, I bought my Urus, and about 2 years before that, I made my residency move over to Dubai to build a new business and start living there for about half the year. Now that all sounds great, but why do you need this kind of social proof plastered everywhere all over your social medias? Well, this social proof is gonna make you a shit ton of money. And the reason for this is because of the 3 main cognitive biases. You have the bandwagon effect, which basically refers to the fact that when multiple people start doing the same thing, whether it be becoming an overnight Golden State Warriors fan in 2017 or becoming an Andrew Tate fanboy, you see, once more and more people start to do one thing, others are far more likely to deem that thing as something that they should be doing too and simply jump on the bandwagon. In this case, the more and more people who start to view your personal brand, who start to follow you on social media accounts, signals to other people that they should be jumping on the bandwagon and doing the same. Now, the next bias here is the authority bias. So when you create content on a particular topic, like I'm doing right now with personal branding, it immediately paints a different picture of me and shines a light on me to show that I'm an authority figure in this subject or in this topic. Had I not created content on it, nobody would care. But in fact, now when I go out for dinners, networking events, people are always asking me about dropshipping, about personal branding, about what business model they should start. And that's all because they view me as an authority thanks to me creating content. Now, the last one here is conformity bias, which basically means that we as humans tend to conform to society or what others are doing around us. And if tons of us are watching, let's say, how to get rich videos from Iman Gaji, then everybody else one by one is gonna start watching how to get rich videos, gonna start tuning into his personal brand, and that's gonna inevitably put more money in his pocket. Very similar to the bandwagon effect effect, though slightly different and nuanced there. Now, another massive reason, again, that'll put more money in your pocket is the networking opportunities. And if you don't believe me, I have just a few people out of probably 100 different connections that I've worked with and made money together over the years. And these people have all added additional revenue into my pocket or into the pocket of my businesses simply just from meeting them. As an example, we have Jad here on the right side of the screen. Now, I've mentioned him in some of my other videos. He's actually a mentor of mine and somebody who I now work quite closely with even to this day. And what happened is a couple of years ago, he saw me posting Shopify dashboard screenshots and results all over my Instagram every single day. He actually reached out to connect with me on Instagram, and I had taken notice that he'd done over $30 million in sales, which at the time was about 30 or 40x what I had generated a few years ago. And so I asked him if there's any way that he could help me, and he said, take the next flight down to LA and let's chat. What did I do? The next morning, I woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I hit my computer and I typed in flights from YVR Vancouver to LAX. I jumped on the next flight, and when I met him, he was so surprised that I actually pulled up. He took me under his wing, and my business went from $30,000 to $100,000 per month just from meeting this single guy. So by now, you guys are starting to see the unfair advantage that having a personal brand will bring you in pretty much all aspects of your life. Not only will you make more money in whatever it is that you're doing as an entrepreneur, but even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, let's say you want to be a freelance videographer, you're going to be able to attract top clients to work with by posting your work on Instagram and YouTube. So having a personal brand can actually impact the job offers that you receive and the money that you can earn even as a freelancer or working for somebody else. Additionally, it can open up so many doors and allow you to connect with practically anyone. I mean, at this point in time, I've been building my personal brand for the past 5 years, and so I'm very likely to get a direct message back from most people in my industry and even other people in other industries because they see what I'm doing, they find it cool, they find it inspiring, motivating, or maybe they just like the way that I do my content. I have a much better chance of them reaching back out to me. And this isn't just to do with networking for business purposes. Your profile nowadays on Instagram can also act as a dating profile. And it's crazy because I never imagined this, but I actually met my current girlfriend through Instagram. And had I not built my personal brand up, who knows, maybe she wouldn't have even seen my DM because she already had hundreds of others and I wouldn't have stood out. Now, I will say you have to be very cautious when crafting your social media accounts, particularly your Instagram, because perceptions formed on your personal brand can actually spill over into real life interactions. And this has happened to me countless times. I mean, when I walk into a room now, particularly in my home city or at a networking event where, it's kind of similar people in my industry, a lot of people at that event or at that venue might have already seen me online or know who I am. And I've noticed firsthand how people will treat you differently for better or for worse. I mean, the majority of time for me, it's for better because a lot of my content is based around authenticity, transparency. You can go back and see my journey over the past 5 years on Instagram and YouTube that I've been posting. And a lot of people really resonate with that and they're excited to connect with me. But I've seen many people in my space who have tarnished their reputation, their image, and then when they go out, they're just getting a bunch of hate. And of course, nobody wants to deal with that. There's a million benefits here that I could just ramble on and on about, but at the end of the day, money talks, and I want to show you guys how much money my personal brand has made me over the past 4 or 5 years. So my current stats on YouTube, which is my main platform right now, is about 16.3 million views over the past 4.5 years. That equates to about 1.5 million hours of watch time, 372,000 subscribers gained, and get this, over 540,000 US dollars straight profit ad revenue to my account simply for making YouTube videos. But that's not even the craziest part. I'm going to show you my total personal brand earnings to date. If you count affiliate and sponsorship revenue, which is basically businesses who sponsor my content or businesses that I work quite closely with and promote them in videos to earn a kickback or a commission on every single person who signs up for their product or service, I've generated $2.5 million in the past 4 years. Now with info product revenue, I've generated $3 million. Info products, in my opinion, are one of the best routes that you can take if you're a content creator that wants to monetize yourself, wants to make money, because you might not have the time to go and build a massive physical product company, or you might not have the audience size and reach to actually grow that. The next best alternative for you is to create digital products where you don't have to spend any money on fulfillment, because once the product is created once, it's delivered instantly to every single customer that comes through and wants to purchase it. And then of course here we have AdSense revenue as well. So you can add this up for yourself, guys. I've made made over $6 million from creating content and having a personal brand, which is absolutely wild to say. And bear in mind, a lot of that comes in at a very high net margin as well, much higher than something like an e-commerce brand or a software business, because again, these type of income streams are info products, affiliate marketing, and AdSense revenue. Now bear in mind, with AdSense revenue and affiliate revenue, pretty much all of this is profit because you're not paying for ads. All you're doing is creating free organic content by yourself and getting paid in proportion to how valuable your content is and how many views that it's getting. Now, of course, with info products, I ran a mentorship company for a while. We sold websites, we sold winning product access. We've tried tons of different products under the sun. There will be significant expenses that come with that. You are running a legitimate business. But all in all, guys, I've profited multiple millions of dollars over the past few years from simply having a personal brand. And I'm not afraid to say it either. Like, I take pride in all the value that I bring to you guys. I mean, I just made an 8-hour movie and released it on YouTube for free. And over the past year, in fact, I wasn't even selling info products. So the 3 million came before that. I was giving you guys everything for free and making most of my money with affiliate marketing. Now, it's not to say that info products are bad. In fact, we've recently reopened the mentorship. It's just to show you guys that whether you want to sell a course or sell an info product or not, there's still alternative routes. And regardless, with the personal brand, you could be making millions of dollars in a very short period of time, and you don't even need a significant amount of followers. I mean, if you look at my year-over-year revenue growth, in 2021, we did about $50,000 all up, and this is kind of when I was just getting started. You know, the personal brand was really at a couple thousand subscribers, a couple thousand followers on each platform, and then by 2022, I had maybe 40 to 50,000 followers on YouTube, a small handful on Instagram and TikTok and other platforms, and we managed to generate $1.5 million. Now, that's obviously not in proportion, because in 2024, you can see we did $2.5 million, so only $1 million more, yet we had over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. So why is that? Well, let me tell you right now that your favorite content creators, the biggest ones with millions of followers, might not even be making as much money as someone with 30,000, 40,000 subscribers on YouTube, a very small but loyal audience in a niche that solves a lot of problems and makes a ton of money. And you see, in 2022, I hadn't expanded my personal brand yet. Yes, I didn't have very many followers, but I was talking specifically to online business owners pursuing dropshipping, and I had offers to sell them. So even if I was only getting a few thousand views per video, this audience was highly targeted, and these people had money and were ready to invest in whatever I was offering them. And then over time, I started broadening up and going on a bigger scale, and I wasn't making as much money proportionally, but of course, that was a strategic move. I wanted to grow bigger. I wanted to do other things like affiliate on a bigger scale, and I wanted to just build my follower base and provide as much value to the world as possible. But if I was creating content strictly just for making money, I now realize that you don't need to have a big audience. In fact, you probably shouldn't. The smaller the niche, the more the riches, so long as your audience is highly qualified and highly targeted, and you can solve a clear and distinct problem for people that have money. So keep that in mind, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But bottom line is, I hope at this point I've convinced you guys that you'd be pretty stupid to not at least start. And by start, I mean pick up the phone, document your journey, what you're currently doing, where you currently are. Even if you're making no money and you're sleeping at your parents' house and you're just trying to figure your life out, I promise you this content is gonna come in handy for your future. And one day in a few years, you'll thank me, because when you're in my position, you'll have all that old content to repurpose, post all over your social medias, and you'll grow 10 times faster than I have. So if you've made it to this point, I'm sure you've already decided in your head, that's it. I have to at least start filming something. So how do we start? Well, first thing you want to do is sit down and have some honest conversations with yourself. And don't skip this part and think that, you're too high and mighty and above all of this kind of stuff, because you're not. Even the biggest creators in the world aren't. They have to sit down, they have to figure out what direction they're steering the ship in, likely every 6 months or even every year. So I like to go over some of these things on my checklist here. What is it that I'm creating content on? Is it my profession? Is it a mission and vision that I have? Is it the strengths and skills that I have? Is it a passion of mine? Or is it just my own uniqueness and likability, right? You don't have to necessarily have a niche, because at the end of the day, with the personal brand, you are the niche. Now you got to think, who is going to be consuming this content that you're creating. So like I said before, if you're starting from scratch, it's best to pick a smaller audience. So maybe for you, you want to teach people how to edit videos. Maybe you want to teach people how to run a marathon. Maybe you just want to create entertaining videos and make people laugh. That's fine, but the more defined you can get with your target market, just like you would with an advertisement, the better. And then you can start to shape your content around what you think those viewers might want to see. Now here's what's going to set you apart and what's really going to allow you to start making money is to really start thinking about what problems can you solve or what issues is that target audience that you've already defined facing on their day-to-day life, and how can you step in and make a video that's going to help them with that. So good, we maybe have an idea about what we want to create content on, who we want to create content for, and the last thing that we got to talk about is how. So maybe you have this big accomplishment statement. My name is Nathan and I ran a marathon in under 3 hours and 30 minutes after 6 months of training, going from completely out of shape to shredded. I didn't actually do that, by the way, but I would like to at some point in the near future. But regardless, that's kind of your accomplishment statement. Could be anything, or maybe you're showcasing your talents. So maybe it's a video of you juggling a soccer ball and doing all these crazy tricks that nobody thought was possible. Or maybe you just want to jump straight into offering some kind of service. So maybe you're a freelance videographer and you want to show people a day in your life creating content for a brand that you work for. These are just a few random ideas, but the beauty is, regardless of who you are, I promise you have something to share with the world. Every single one of you is unique and has your own skill sets and own abilities and something special you can bring to other people. And if you might think no one wants to watch, just remind yourself that there are 3-4 billion users on social media right now. And there is indeed an audience. If you can comprehend that number, 4 billion people in your head, you'll realize that no matter what you create content on, there is an audience for it. So now we have to talk about choosing a platform to create on. And we've got so many nowadays. We've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got YouTube, we've got Snapchat, we've got Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have streaming platforms. And honestly, the list goes on. There's new ones popping up every couple years. So I'm gonna give you guys my recommendations, but PS, I'm completely biased. So what style should you be creating? Well, generally there's a few different content styles in most niches, at least from what I've seen. You have kind of raw style where you're just sitting at the camera and talking off the top of your head. You have sort of higher production videos where everything is scripted, really well thought out. The lighting is perfect, the setup, the background, everything just works so well and is so smooth, and you're delivering that information or talking to the camera. Maybe you got some nice B-roll, etc. Now you have vlogs where this is kind of like a take me with you. I'm going shopping, I want to show you guys what I'm buying, or I'm going to be showing you guys a day of my life as a 7-figure business owner, these sorts of things. These are a couple different styles that you guys can start thinking about. But the truth is, you should really be experimenting with content styles, and it might take you a while to get comfortable to find something that sticks, as did for me. But ultimately, I think it'll come down to the content you enjoy creating the most, and also the content you enjoy consuming. Because if you enjoy consuming, content about starting a business, then it makes sense for you to eventually start creating content on how to start a business as well, because all that information that you're constantly consuming will be able to spill over into what you're talking about so easily, so fluidly, so naturally. So this is the best place to start, honestly. And if you have fun and enjoy curating the content, then it's also more likely that the content will be well received by the viewers. And I've seen this time and time again in videos where I'm genuinely passionate about, just like this one right now. You guys can see it on my face, you can hear it in my voice, that I live and breathe this kind of online business shit that I'm talking about, which is why you guys stick, why you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Please go do that. And why you guys continually like my videos, and these videos end up performing pretty well. People can always see through somebody who's completely faking it, staging and scripting everything just to make money, or just because they think it's a good hot opportunity to jump onto. No, when you're starting a personal brand, people will see through that, and the only thing that works is being authentically and genuinely you. And for that reason is exactly why I'm able to create videos like this off the top of my head in about 45 minutes, while other people will take an entire week to create something of this kind of value. It's because I already do this shit day in and day out, and I'm so excited to talk about it and deliver that value to you guys. Now I do want to touch on streaming content as well. So streaming has blown up over the past few years. I'm not a streamer, but I do know multiple streamers. I don't really watch too much streamers myself, but the reason why I say you should consider it is because it has the biggest waterfall effect. And what I mean by that is if you stream, so you sit there on your computer all day, talk to your webcam, and you have all these loyal fans interacting with you, then you can splice up what you're saying and what you're doing on camera, and you can make YouTube videos with that. You can also reuse those clips for short form, for TikTok, for YouTube Shorts, and I feel like this is part of the reason why streaming has blown up so much lately. It's because they've leveraged the other social media platforms by simply cutting up all of their streams, and they have endless content for editors to blast out on all these accounts, which brings more and more awareness, exposure, and virality to their name, and ultimately more people will tune into their streams and they'll make more money. Now, there are some heavy cons with streaming, right? It generally takes the longest to grow, the largest and most loyal fan base. You have to put in long hours. It's an extremely difficult job. It's probably more difficult than all the other social media platforms combined. And you have to be entertaining 24/7. Like, nobody wants to sit there and watch you for 8 hours being completely dull and boring. But if you're the type of person who can look past these cons, there's a lot of heavy pros. Like, the risk to reward is the highest because every piece of content, again, you can reuse for years and years to come on every other platform. Again, you have the most loyal fan base, so people that, absolutely love you, will die for you, will buy from you, and the most spreadable content. You also have the most ways to monetize with longer funnels, and the fact that people have spent so much time with you means that they're going to be ready so much faster and so much easier to convert and to make a purchase on whatever you're selling them, or even if it's an affiliate offer or a sponsorship or whatever, you're going to make more money. And let's talk about short form, because short form has absolutely taken over the past couple of years as well. The pros here is that it's great for rapid growth. I mean, I've been posting on Instagram Reels and we've grown 300, 400,000 followers on my main Instagram account in the past 8 months, which is absolutely a crazy amount of people. We're doing over 10, 15 million views a month. It's also a lot easier to share. It's easier to make, it's easier to create. These are generally 15 to 60 seconds long. You can also scale on a breadth approach, so you can open up multiple different accounts under your name across TikTok, across Instagram, across YouTube Shorts. You can even post short stuff on Snapchat, LinkedIn if it's businessy kind of content, all this sorts of stuff. But every platform is now opening up, a shorts kind of category where you can release this shorter content on. Now, these videos are also a lot easier to edit. You can do it on your phone with some raw clips in CapCut. Takes way less time to plan and shoot an effective short form video than it does a long form video, and typically you have higher engagement. So because everybody nowadays has such short attention spans, you're going to have more people liking and commenting on your short than you will on a long video that took you a long time to create. Another heavy pro of short form is you can send these users wherever you want. I use short form to build awareness for my YouTube channel, and then my real life-changing value is here on YouTube. So if you're here, congratulations, you're a real one, you found the real content. But you could use short form to serve any purpose. You could send people from TikTok and YouTube Shorts to Instagram if you want to grow your presence there. You have a lot of different places that you can easily send traffic to by having these followers on these short form accounts. Now, the cons is that it's hard to grow a quote unquote real fan base, and that it's difficult to monetize even as an established creator. There are TikTok accounts with millions of followers who probably only make a few $1,000s a month. And these, I'm talking about 10 million, 15 million, because their views simply aren't worth that much. Yes, they're getting hundreds of millions of views, but it's them throwing milk in a grocery store and doing stupid pranks. So what brand wants to pay to be a part of that? Not very many. Additionally, if you're trying to sell your own product or service, what are you going to pitch people? You haven't provided them any kind of value or helped them or solved any problems. Sure, you've maybe made them chuckle a little bit for a couple seconds, but then they've scrolled right past your video. So now let's talk about long form, which I'm basically just referring to YouTube videos. The pros here is that you have much higher monetization potential. You have the ability to create an emotional connection with your audience. You have more in-depth content, which changes people's lives more, solves their problems. They spend a lot more time with you, as you guys are doing now, and you have a lot more longevity. YouTube creators tend to stick around a lot longer in terms of people actually knowing and caring about them. For short form creators, it seems like come and go every week. But of course, just like any other platform, there is cons to this one too. It's generally harder to master. There's lots of moving parts, from the scripting to the titles to the thumbnails to the editing to the lighting to the camera quality to the audio quality to the production as a whole to B-roll, A-roll. It is a whole thing. I can't even lie, guys. YouTube is difficult. There's a lot that goes into it, but Nowadays, of course, there's raw styles of content. There's the girl, the Wizard Liz, with 7 million subscribers who shot everything on her phone. All of our videos are like 15 minutes. I promise you, that's not that hard to do. And if you can even just have a fraction of her audience, then you guys could be making a ton of money off of YouTube as well. Now later, when you start to build your YouTube empire and get more and more subscribers, it can become difficult to hire all these people for production, juggling all their schedules as well as your own, and then obviously more time, resources, and skills required to produce higher quality, more valuable content for your audience. And of course, you need to keep their attention for a lot longer. Short is so easy to keep somebody's attention for a few seconds, but a YouTube video, you have to damn well be good at what you're doing to keep somebody here for 30 minutes watching this entire video. So if you're starting from scratch, my recommendation for you is to start with short form. I know it doesn't have the highest monetization potential, but once you build up your content creation skills initially on Instagram and TikTok, then you can take that skills over to YouTube, level it up a notch, solve real problems, talk to your prospects and your audience a lot more, and that is when you can really start to sell. But honestly, guys, the better answer to all of what I just covered over the last 10 minutes is create content that you would watch, create content that is authentic to who you are, and create content that would inspire you or a younger version of yourself. Those are kind of the big three that I like to come back to. And at the end of the day, yes, you're making content for your audience, but nobody cares to watch somebody put on a mask and pretend to be somebody they're not. Like I was saying earlier, people see straight through that bullshit nowadays. And if they wanted an actor, they would go to Netflix for that. They don't need your YouTube videos. Now, probably the most important thing with YouTube and short form and all this stuff is to constantly test and iterate. This is not an overnight success by any means. I mean, take somebody like Andrew Tate. People don't know that he was creating content for over 7 years before he finally had his big break and became the most Googled man on the planet for, albeit a short amount of time. But still, he grew like crazy, and everybody thought he's just some kind of overnight success. I mean, even me, people come up to me all the time. They're like, bro, like, that's crazy. I can't believe it feels like you just started this content stuff. And I'm like, no, like, I mean, sure, there's a little bit of luck involved in everything I do, but obviously, like, I put in the reps day in and day out for years to make this shit a reality for me and to actually make me a significant amount of money off my content and to be growing at the pace that we are now. And I mean, you can see on the right-hand side of the slide here, this is my first video ever. It was still kind of in the businessy realm, which is what I knew I wanted to talk about, but I was trying a Pokemon card collecting side hustle. It got maybe 50 views. I mean, now it's a little bit higher because people came back and watched my old content, but even still, it's the lowest performing, lowest viewed video on my entire channel versus, something that I posted about a year and a half ago, which has 2.4 million views. So it took me 3 years, basically, to go from that to that. And the most common place people get stuck is by overthinking things and just not getting started. You got to just dive headfirst in, face rejection, face failure. It's part of the process. I mean, even Mr. Beast said, like, you're not a real YouTuber until you've made 100 videos, then come back, then analyze, then see what needs improvement. I think maybe that's a bit excessive, especially if you want to have a smaller channel. But to his point, you need to just throw yourself in there and post. When I started YouTube, I made a rule for myself. I said, in 1 year, I'm going to have made 50 videos, and then I'll come back and I'll see if it's worth it for me to continue creating this content. After the first 5, 10, 15 videos, I barely had any subscribers. It was all my friends and family and my mom watching most of my YouTube videos, but I just kept going because I made that promise to myself. And I told myself that every week I would improve, I would experiment, I would try one new thing, I would try to improve one thing, whether it be the title, the thumbnail, the video quality, the camera quality, one thing in every video, and I just kept doing that. And I still to this day try to do that. For this video, the one thing that I'm trying to improve or I'm experimenting on is the fact that I'm talking about personal branding. I have nothing to sell you guys in this niche, but I want to talk about it because I get a lot of people asking me questions all the time, and you guys seem to want to know what it takes to build a personal brand, and I'm happy to provide that value to you, build that trust with you, and continue to grow my audience through giving you guys what you want. And also, this shit excites me. I mean, I like talking about this stuff. I've been doing this the past few years. I'm sure you can already tell based on how I'm delivering this video. Now, here's a slide of actually something that I have internally and like to come back to. It's key habits of great content creators. So I'm not going to talk about every single one of these because, again, I could ramble on forever about this shit. But pause the video here and start looking through some of these key habits, or take a screenshot, come back to it. I promise you guys it'll help you in your journey. Now, next we want to talk about monetization. You guys want to make money. You've heard how to start, why you should start. Let me give you a few different routes on how to actually start making money and show you guys just how simple it can be. So firstly, you need to evaluate your monetization opportunity. What do I mean by that? I mean, before you even start creating content, or maybe as you're starting to get the ball rolling, you need to be thinking about, how much am I in this for money? And If you want to make a lot of money, well, now you need to get a little bit more strategic. You need to start thinking, okay, I should be in a niche that solves rich people's problems or solves business owners' problems. These are typically the highest paying niche. I mean, it's no surprise. My niche, which is the entrepreneurship, and then the finance niche as well, are historically and even to this day the highest paid niche on YouTube, which can see an ad revenue CPM of $80 to $100 in many cases, versus many other channels are getting $2, $3, $4 CPM because, like I said, they're prank channels and no one really cares to pay for ad placement on that. So start thinking about long term, is the niche that you picked sustainable enough for me to monetize from an ad revenue perspective, also from an affiliate sponsorship perspective, and also from building your own company and selling perspective, okay? So with YouTube ad revenue, videos that are less than 10 minutes, ads are automatically chosen based on the metadata and whether their content is advertiser friendly. So now YouTube ad revenue. The main thing here is you won't get monetized or you won't have the ability to make money on YouTube until you pass, I believe it's 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. So that's kind of the threshold. For me, I remember I was around 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers when I hit that, and I had one video that was going up to about 20 or 30K views that brought in the majority of those 4,000 hours of watch time, and boom, I was monetized. And after a few months of posting on YouTube, I started making, anywhere from 10 to 50 bucks a day. And today, that number for me ranges all the way from a couple $100 a day to a couple $1,000 every single day, passively coming in from all the videos that I've posted on my channel to date. Just in case you don't know how the ad revenue works, it's basically an auction for advertisers who signed up with Google Ads and who are paying for placement on your YouTube videos. Now, of course, depending on the niche, these advertisers are going to get charged differently by the algorithm, but bottom line, it's business owners who pay Google or YouTube to place ads on your videos, and depending on what niche the video's in is how much money your video is going to make. And it'll tell you on the analytics of your YouTube channel exactly how much money you're making, or the RPM, or revenue per mil, which basically means how much money you're making for every 1,000 views straight in your YouTube studio. Now, when it comes to increasing your monetized playbacks, or obviously increasing your ad revenue and making more money, here's some helpful advice. And this not only applies to making more money, but also to creating better videos and getting more views. So you get more clicks by optimizing your video titles and thumbnails. So titles and thumbnails, I'd say, are about 30 to 40% of how well your video is going to do. And then the rest of it just comes down to, did you create a banger piece of content or not? Now, obviously, with YouTube, you have to hit every box. You have to create a great piece of content that people will love in your space. You have to have a great thumbnail and a great title. You can't have one thing without the other. They all have to be on point. But continually optimizing, possibly split testing using a tool like TubeBuddy will allow you to get better and better thumbnails for every video, and constantly trying out new titles, seeing what's working best in your industry for similar videos and replicating those, or putting your own twist on it is a good place to start. Then, of course, creating engaging, valuable, and well-produced videos that captivate your audience and keep them watching. Every little thing matters with YouTube. Notice little things like the fact that I have my YouTube plaque up there and my ClickFunnels plaque for making over $1 million with one funnel. These things matter and they give me authority. In fact, usually I'm wearing, a $50,000 watch, not today, but I'm always thinking about the little things every time I turn on the camera, and I always try to be my best and most presentable self to the audience. Now, you can also encourage more viewer interaction and longer watch times by actively engaging with your community. And I know this sounds like a bunch of BS with, people getting hundreds of thousands of followers, like why should they engage with their community? But it really makes a big difference. I mean, I'd rather have 1,000 true fans that are going to take me places unimaginable instead of 1 million people who don't even give a shit about me and are just randomly clicked on the video. And to cultivate and build these true loyal fans, you have to engage with them. They're a part of your community. They're giving you their time, their precious time, spending hours and hours with you watching their content. So the least you can do is reply to their comments, like their stuff, hit them back on Instagram if they DM you, and so on and so forth. Now, you can also use end screens and cards in your videos to promote other relevant content. So a big thing that most big YouTubers do in most niches is at the end of their video, they segue it to another video that's already on their channel. So at the end of this personal branding video, I'm gonna segue you guys to the 8-hour video that I dropped, which covers everything from content creation to starting your own business, to optimizing your life, to investing. It's the perfect place to go from 0 to $1 million. And just wait till the end of this video, because you guys are gonna see how I perfectly segue that so that that you guys are just waiting to click onto that next video, which is in turn gonna help my entire channel grow, give me not just one view for you clicking on this, but hopefully 2 if you click on the next one, and it'll also increase what's known as my session watch time. And having a very high session watch time, which basically means the consecutive amount of time that one person spends on your YouTube videos across your channel, boosts your videos in the algorithm out to more people and increases your chances to get more views. So now it's time to talk about diversifying your revenue streams from your personal brand and also from your YouTube channel beyond just ads. And guys, there's so many ways to do this that it's a bit overwhelming all at once for me to talk about. So I'm just going to talk about a few and give you kind of my key recommendations. But when you start creating some back-end funnels and offers for a new business you start, you can consider selling branded merch, any type of physical items that you want, t-shirts, mugs, stickers with your logos or catchphrases, all of this kind of stuff. Although I would generally steer clear from it unless you're the size of PewDiePie or Logan Paul or somebody like this, because with physical products, it's likely a volume game. It's very hard to operate an e-commerce business on a good, healthy profit margin if you're not pushing any kind of volume, if you're getting the odd sale here and there, because chances are you're paying for inventory, you're paying for stocking, you're doing all this kind of stuff, and then you're barely getting a few trickling sales coming in from the YouTube. So unless you have a massive personal brand presence, the better way to do it is to sell digital products, which I touched on earlier. So these could be apps, these could be ebooks, courses, webinars, mentorships, coaching one-on-one. There's so many different options for info products, but it truly is the best thing for a content creator to sell because, like I said, you can create an info product one time and you can sell it infinitely and not have to pay anything for that delivery or that fulfillment cost. And with the organic content that you're creating on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, that basically means that you can potentially run your info product business up to 100% net margin. I mean, obviously there's gonna be some software costs and so on thrown in the mix, but bottom line is almost every dollar that you bring in could be profit if you optimize your info product business correctly. Now, there's also some other options popping up like school communities, which are basically low ticket, monthly recurring revenue communities where people pay 20 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month to join and be a part of that. And then generally with info, there's like lower ticket and higher ticket. So lower ticket would be like an ebook, and then higher ticket would be like one-on-one time with yourself, coaching them through a particular pain or problem in their life. Now, when it comes to selling info products successfully, which is my personal recommendation as you guys grow your personal brand, keep in mind everything that I said earlier about creating content to a specific, well-defined target audience, solving their problems, and positioning yourself as an authority figure in that field. People will only buy your product or service if there is high perceived value, and you can strengthen that value immensely by having a personal brand and taking advantage of all those biases that I mentioned earlier as well. You could sell your info products on a one-time purchase model, subscription model, tiered pricing, bundling strategies. You could even add affiliate marketing into the mix and do kind of a hybrid of the two. But really, there's endless options for you guys. If I was you and if I was starting out from scratch, I wouldn't go and build this massive info product empire. I would simply start the leanest coaching business possible, where one-on-one, I coach my dream client and help them get their desired result. And then from there, as I start to bring in some cash flow, I can start to reinvest and possibly build my own software, possibly start hiring people and take my entire company to the next level. But in the beginning, you can make amazing money off your personal brand by one-on-one coaching and also feeling proud that you're really changing the people's lives that watch your content. Now, when you have your info product or coaching offer built out, there's a number of different ways that you can start marketing it in your YouTube and in your short form videos. And you can simply just plug them into the video and just give a direct CTA or call to action by saying, click the link in my bio and check out the new program I launched. Or you can start collecting your audience's email address, start following up with them every single week and selling them as much or as little as you guys want. You could make case study videos of dream clients that you've already worked with or people that you've already helped get that desired result as to why you started the business in the first place. You could also hop on podcasts, or you can have guests come onto your channel as well. Really, the list goes on. You can get creative and start thinking of tons of new ways to promote your info products. Iman Gaji actually did this. I'm not sure if he still does this, but he created a flywheel VSL is what he calls it, where basically it's a video sales letter about 30 or 45 minutes long on his YouTube channel, pinned at the top of the page. And this thing got like 9 million views. And why Why did it get 9 million views? Because he redirected traffic from the end of every single video, as I was mentioning earlier, all to that one video. He also put links in the description of all his other videos. So his entire YouTube channel and all of his personal brand became this funnel to get eyeballs to this one video. So I believe he did this for a couple of reasons. One reason is at the time, people just had this common consensus that online courses from 23 or 24-year-olds were a scam. And so he kind of hid the fact or disguised the fact that he was selling his agency course or whatever he was selling at the time by not directly selling it in any other video, but sort of passively pushing people over to that VSL video and just selling it in that one place. Now, another reason why he did this is because obviously that's going to be his highest converting video. So he wants to farm as much of his traffic as possible to it because it's laid out in such a way where it's extremely convincing. I mean, it's a VSL to get somebody to buy that info product. So the more you guys can come up with your own strategies like his and get creative, probably the better off you're going to do over time. But in the beginning, simply just replicate what's working for the top people in your industry. Now, I guess another little monetization stream we could tap into as well is licensing and repurposing your info products or potentially even your content. You can do this on platforms like Masterclass, which will basically pay you to host up your info products or your unique content on there as well. And if you're a content creator, you might even have other licensing platforms reaching out to you. My email inbox is always flooded with opportunities for me to make extra money. Usually I don't take them up on it because I have my own businesses that I kind of dial in on, but licensing your stuff out to other people could also be a great way to make passive income. Now, we briefly touched on affiliate marketing before, but affiliate marketing for your personal brand is basically when you're the affiliate and you make a commission for marketing somebody else's product or service. Companies will typically give you a unique link to their website, and you'll typically make a certain amount of money for every single sale that you bring them. And possibly you can work something out where you're also getting sponsorship payments on top of that. But of course, it depends on the companies and it depends on the industry that you're in. The benefits to getting started with affiliate marketing is you have the lowest barriers to entry, no investment. You don't have to start your own company, spend any of your own time. And it just makes so much sense. I mean, if I'm talking about dropshipping and I'm telling everybody to use Shopify, why wouldn't I plug Shopify in my description and make a little bit of money from everybody who signs up for Shopify? Because they're already doing that anyway, and I'm already talking about it. Now, there's a lot of passive income potential here. If you're working with a company like Shopify and you have them linked in all of your videos, you're not doing anything but think about all those people constantly signing up through your link and the money you're going to be making every single day just from working with that company as an affiliate. If you're interested on how these affiliate commission structures generally work, I'm not going to yap on it too much, but there'll be a slide up for you guys right here. And same thing with the factors affecting how much you're going to get paid out, which is basically what I was referring to before. It just depends on the companies that you're working with, the industry that you're in, what kind of value, what kind of problem solutions you're providing to the market. Now, of course, if you wanted to take affiliate marketing to the next level, you can always optimize it. You can always turn it into more of a business. You can start using analytics tools to monitor your clicks and conversions from every single video that you create. But honestly, in the beginning, I don't want to overwhelm you guys too much. If you're more advanced, take a look at some of these slides that I'm kind of flying through right now. But that's pretty much it for affiliate marketing. It's very straightforward, and I would highly recommend it just as much as I recommend info products. In fact, over the past few years, I've been doing both. And as you guys saw earlier, $2.5 million made from affiliate marketing and $3 million made from info products. I think that says it all. Those should be your biggest two vehicles when getting started with a personal brand. Now, that video went on a lot longer than I expected, but for good reason. I'm sure you guys got tons of value out of it. I had fun creating it. I'm passionate about this stuff. And you guys want to see more about personal branding and content creation taken to the next level, then make sure you guys watch the 8-hour movie that I created for you with everything I've learned about making money, not just with personal branding, not just with dropshipping, but with every single business model that I've tapped into over the past 6 years of obsessing over online business and my career in the space. So that video will be somewhere here. It'll also be linked down below in the description. And I just want to leave you guys with one last thing to cement in your brain before you go off and start your personal branding journey. And that's that the most successful people in content creation are simply the ones that show up time and time again because they love to do it. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Peace.